Could she? Maybe. Alcohol wasn't such a big thing for her, and in the short term, she wasn't contemplating any kind of sex. But the band, the music that made her feel alive, that would be harder. And her job, impossible to give that up. Right now, she didn't need the money, but she needed the sense of purpose. And she was good at it. It had taken her 5 years of medical school and 5 years of specialist training to get to where she was. She wouldn't throw that away. I asked the hospital manager for a 6-month leave of absence, Natalie said. A compromise. To decide what I want to do. And to avoid running into Liam O'Shea until she knew she could handle it. Declan nodded, pouring tea from a faded bone china teapot. No wine today. He was being careful with her. I thought I'd move to the country, maybe try out research? Declan raised an eyebrow. He knew of Natalie's fraught relationship with Academe, but all he said was, anywhere particular in mind? Oh, a little spot west of Lorne on the Great Ocean Road. I used to holiday near there when I was a kid. Fresh sea air and not too many people. Not now the summer's over. Declan rubbed his chin. It's a long way from Melbourne. Natalie shrugged. A 2.5-hour ride. I can come up once a week to see you and my Monday patients, and Geelong's only an hour away. She'd done a cursory search of the university department in Geelong, which boasted Associate Professor Frank Morton as the sole psychiatrist with an academic standing. She remembered him vaguely from some lectures he'd given on somatization, how people's early childhood and personality could influence the type of illnesses that afflicted them. He was British from memory, good-looking but way too self-important. A few of the female registrars had been conned, but good-looking and arrogant was not her style. Not since Liam, anyway. The new Natalie King was going to do yoga every morning and be in bed sipping herbal tea by 9 each night. Alone. The concern was still there in Declan's eyes when he wished her well. Natalie packed up her Ducati, carefully covering Bob's cage so the ride wouldn't strip out all of his feathers. As relationships went, this was one of her more successful. Since a patient had asked her to take care of the cockatoo and then gone AWOL, Bob was one of the few predictable elements in her life. She took the wide new freeway that led to the winding coast road. A chill blew off the cool grey ocean, and there were long sections of sweeping curbs with no traffic. After she'd left Lorne behind, the houses on the hills to her right were lost amongst the trees. The only light came from her bike, sending eerie shadows across the road. When she arrived at Separation Creek, fog hugged the meagre streetlights and the houses, mostly built on stilts to deal with the steep hillside, probably all weekenders, were dark. She slowed the Ducati. "Keep on after the last house," was the agent's instruction. "You won't get lonely, will you?" She only found the driveway after the road disappeared into a dip, and she knew she'd gone too far. Slower on return, she caught sight of the track between 2 gum trees shredding bark like snakeskin and gunned the bike up the steep incline. She cut the engine as she roared into the carport, which was empty except for a stack of wood. "How do you feel?" Poor Bob. He sounded like he wasn't feeling well. Natalie foraged for the key and opened the door, then grabbed his cage and headed up the staircase. "You could have been a star," Bob muttered unconvincingly. Why did the damn parrot have to misquote Dylan? She forgot him as soon as the stairs opened into a huge living area. Floor-to-ceiling glass doors led to the balcony. Beyond, the moon was just visible through the sea mist, the white expanse of the bay below largely hidden apart from splashes of white surf. Natalie threw open the doors. The sounds of waves crashing in the distance and a gust of cold, salty air greeted her. It couldn't have been more different from the warehouse in Collingwood where she had lived for the last 2.5 years, wedged between a printer's office and a brothel. Her new home backed into a thickly wooded forest. Only a few lights twinkling on the distant hills opposite suggested anything.